The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, this is Ken Gidge, and this is The Art of Politics. And usually I go and I say it's a different show because we have a Republican and a Democrat. But today I have two Republicans. I would say both of them, well, one is an extremely heavy hitter. Hi, how are you? And the other one is mediocre.
Yeah.
And this is election time, so I think you should find this all interesting because we will go fighting around a little, but we have a lot to talk about because Bill O'Brien is here. So, Mr. O'Brien?
Good to see you,
Nice
Ken.
to have you back.
Ken, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah,
Bill,
that's
welcome
right.
to the show, back again.
Yeah, Representative.
I'm
Good to
glad.
be here with you.
Representative,
You
Representative,
actually got me to get on here with Ken, and we've been duking it out here for a while.
Ken had worked me over to a point where I just couldn't handle anymore, so we brought in the big guns.
Well, that's it. You know, I brought it. When you open up the phone with the facts, they just can't handle it.
I know. Be gentle with them.
I did send him some facts on the phone over on the internet, and he called me up. Why are you posting that? I said, oh, nothing. I just wanted you to know the truth.
Posting that, you see, I'm letting him wind up. I'm going to let him talk himself out. It's like a rope a dope. Do you remember when Ali would, kept going back? All right,
before
now.
we get started, can I ask
See that?
him a favor?
We are starting.
I want to ask him a favor,
Go ahead.
okay? When you become the speaker, can we get him a parking spot up close?
We can get him a parking spot out in Epsom someplace.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I told him I'd try to take him under my wing.
He can park in Nashua and just stay.
For those who do not know, which are probably nobody, the former speaker is here, Bill O'Brien, and through Bill O'Brien's regime, everyone got extremely upset, and now Bill O'Brien said he wasn't going to run, but then he finds out he could become speaker again, so he's going to run again, and so there's a lot to talk about. So when they talk about getting me a parking place out in Epsom someplace, that means you have the ability to give parking places and also seating. Is that correct?
So what we have to do, Ken, as always, is examine your assumptions. And one assumption was everyone was upset. Now, were you upset?
No.
No, I wasn't upset.
wasn't.
No, everyone was upset.
No.
Ken, even you weren't upset. I noticed you don't get upset. But now, what's your question? Were you trying to get a favorable parking spot? Ken, you know I wouldn't do that.
No. I was asking for him.
It's Al's going to take care of the parking spots.
As long as, and a lot of, we'll talk about seating because this is rather funny in a sense, because there are people who are watching the show who will say, well, what has seating got to do with anything? Well, I'm going for my 4th term, so now I'm doing more politics, I'm getting more involved, and when I first started out, I was right in the middle of the row, which meant I really didn't get up much because I didn't really have much to do. Meaning,
Well, you didn't have much to say either, but go ahead.
right, okay. And as you get more involved, you have more to talk about. So gradually, you should end up closer to the end because when you stand up to go out, if the whole rows don't have to stand up.
Yeah, it's really inside baseball, but it is important to the representatives who get elected, and there's so many different considerations that go into where people sit. One of them is, as you say, folks who are just arriving for the first term or two aren't as
Should be
involved.
right in the middle,
Aren't
right.
involved in the debate. But then you have some folks who have some physical challenges,
Disabilities,
and so you have to you know, position them, and then you know some other things come into play. One of the things I had suggested to Speaker Norelli when I first became Speaker was that we just mix it up. We get people together, and she was really adamant that she just didn't want to do that. She said that's very unfair to a minority. Don't ever do that. You know, Bill, and you know, trying to start off with a certain amount
Well,
of comity. I
Now, this is
started.
coming from Norelli now.
But you
I
know,
started off and said,
no,
"Fine, you know,
no,
I just won't do that."
I understand
and
that.
So then she turned around and did it.
I know, but wait, whoa. 297 to 103. I can certainly understand why we should sort of be together.
You're right. The voters really did reject you that time, you know.
That's
but I
right.
hadn't lost
Pretty bad.
thought of that.
They did.
It was what
How
a
bad do you think they'll reject him this time?
Well, I don't know. That was a rout. Well, you know, but that comes when you pass over 100 new taxes and fees. Voters really do get upset. Now, once again, the Democrats have gone in and passed a whole bunch of new taxes and fees. You know, we get this alternate fuel tax. We have Obamacare and Medicaid expansion, which is just going to break the bank.
Oil
you know,
tax.
The oil tax.
Out of control.
You know, in the oil tax, what did it go up? Like
I
23%?
would
was it?
like
It was
everybody to
23%.
know that I'm usually interrupting at this moment, but I'm going to let them
Because
talk themselves
The reason
out.
why you didn't interrupt, because you did vote against the gas tax, because I looked over your shoulder.
That's right.
That's right.
You sit next to me.
I sit right behind you. And Bill's behind
You could do
to
me
the
a
left.
favor. Let me sit behind you.
You know, I've gone and talked to people about, you know, there's generally, in a broad sweep, two types of representatives, and I think actually in this divide you fit maybe a little bit more on the good side, what I call the good side. There are those who want to fall prey to what most politicians want to do, which is say yes all the time. You know, forget the consequences, just say yes. That tends to be our opposition. There are others who want to look at what the consequences are and say, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? And then they vote accordingly. And on the gas tax, you really fell on the right side of the ledger there. Right. I think, you know, Al and I, you know, part of what I think gets us into a little bit of notoriety in resistance is the fact that we'll speak out and say that's just not a good consequence. We can't spend money
Let me
doing
make
that.
it real clear to you. If I thought that it was going to be close, I probably would have voted for it. Okay, because I think that particular thing, after doing nothing for 20 years, is important. Our infrastructure is important, and I know you guys get to the point where you turn around and say, if you only brought the money back from where it was. But hold on a second. I want to bring one thing up. I think it's really important. You're telling us right here at this table that all the Democrats voted in line and we got every single thing we wanted, and that seems to upset you. When you had
you hear me say that?
No, I never heard. See, you put
297
words in our
to
mouth.
103, Democrats got nothing.
Do you know?
You didn't bend a little. We were all wrong?
Ken, you know the people
No,
watching the
question.
show have instant
Hold on a
replay?
second.
They
Were we
can
all
bring us
wrong,
back.
Mr. Speaker? All of us, all
no,
the time?
every once in a while, a couple of you would vote with us, and then they'd
Oh,
be
I
right.
see. So let's get that straight.
But he comes from a well-to-do town because they don't mind being taxed.
Yeah.
My district don't want to be more money out of their pockets. It takes away their quality
You know,
of
that's,
life.
You know,
that's
on
not going to
this-
keep
this-
working when you keep saying that, because everybody knows, well, New Hampshire's, you guys can talk negative, but you want to know something? New Hampshire's in pretty good shape.
No, you know,
It's
we're
a
really
nice
not,
place to live.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful
It's a
place.
great place to live, but I'll tell you what, we look affluent because we're old and young people are leaving. We look like, for example, that our unemployment rate is low because our workforce is shrinking. We have lost the status of being the economic engine for New England. It used to be that New Hampshire led on all fronts.
That's right.
Growth, the low taxes, all the indicia of social help, kids graduating from high school, all the things you look at, and we're falling behind. CNBC has said that we're in the 30s now as the place to do business. When I became Speaker, we were in the 20s. We moved it up to, and hard work of folks like Representative Balisaro, we moved it up to 19. In 2 years, we're falling back into the 30s. We keep it up another 2 years, we're going to have as our peers Mississippi,
You know,
Louisiana, when it comes to a place you don't want to do
That's really
business.
nice way of saying it. But first of all, one thing you're saying is we're losing the young people. So that means what we're losing is a workforce. So if we're losing the young people and we're losing our workforce, then we have to do something on both sides, and you did nothing to keep
that's
the,
not true.
to
Well,
keep
that's
the
not- that's
young
not true.
people. You guys, what? What did you do? What did you
We
do?
passed 84
Really? How
separate
much
pieces
money-
of legislation.
How much money did you take away from the college?
No, it had nothing to
much?
do with the college.
It
How
had-
much?
Had
You, know,
nothing
you
to
want to know what? We took away 6% of their budget. We were.
How many millions?
We were 18% underfunded statewide.
How many-
And we took away 6%
Okay,
of their
so we were
budget.
underfunded, so we took away 6, so now we're
And you know what the result of it has been?
24?
You know what the result of it has been? The direct result has been that we're into our 3rd year of tuition freezes at the state college. People sending their children to our state colleges can thank Republicans that for the last 3 years their tuition has not gone up. That's what we showed them. I went and I talked to the trustees, and I said that you have, over the last 30 years, increased your tuition at about 3 to 4 times the rate of
Bill, how many
inflation.
jobs are in the chancellor's office? How many employees did the chancellor
God.
himself have?
Oh, for God's
Or what is it,
sake.
100, I think it was?
At 100, a little over
Yeah,
100.
something around
They
there.
aren't gonna-
In the chancellor's
Great.
office.
You want to know something?
You know what- you know what?
I love when you say stuff like that, but the
But it's
problem is
facts.
my son went to UNH, and he's living in a place that was 3rd rate. They're saying, we've got the students coming in, we don't have the housing, they're
How much did
cutting
it cost
money
you a
back,
year?
and then you cut money back, and you say,
We cut,
oh,
we
good.
cut, wait a minute, be accurate here. We cut back nothing on the capital contribution. There's 2 aspects of
Of
what.
building. I know that.
There's
I know
there's
that.
2 sources of funding
Yes,
from the
let's
state
make that
to
clear.
UNH.
Let me make
On
that clear. You're
capital,
right.
we cut back nothing.
I love
None
when
of the
you correct
investment. What we did cut back was saying that your faculty's going on sabbatical every 4th year. You've increased your tuition at the rate of 3 or 4 times
right.
the amount of inflation. You've broken your promise to the people of New Hampshire. We have hard financial times. We're asking you to only assume 1/3 of the burden of other public agencies. And they cried, and a hue and a cry. You know, and you want to know what? The end result was that they began to realize that the adults have arrived in Concord, and we better be a little bit careful. And the response was 3 years of frozen tuitions.
You know what I really love about you two Republicans? For 87 years, the Republican Party has run the state of New Hampshire. And what is it? In what, 8 years out of 87, the Democrats have been there, and we're the cause of
You are.
everything.
Ken, I want to shake your hand.
87 years,
Can I shake your hand
and
for
now-
bringing up the history
No,
of the state?
okay,
Because that's why we don't have a sales tax or a
80
payroll tax. For 87 years. Say thank you, Republicans.
Nobody would have a sales tax. We're making.
Yes,
What are you, crazy?
you all wanted
What do you
it.
mean?
You all been
Nobody-
fighting to get a sales
Ken,
tax.
I mean,
You know,
we-
you would have wanted a Democrat
Ken-
who wanted a sales tax.
Yes.
You know why?
Look at the LLC tax. Look at the campground tax.
Let me think if I can name a Democrat who didn't want one besides you. You know,
Nobody
you know,
want- that's not
in my,
a-
in my,
I don't know
in my
too many.
district, Linda Foster, who was
Yeah,
deputy
yeah.
speaker before I did, wanted it. Terry Norelli
Nobody
wants it.
Terry Norelli never wanted a
sure.
What's the finance chair
Shame on
name
you
now?
guys. She lives
Susan
in-
Almy.
Susan
She
Almy was
lives
out.
in a city where
Terry,
a sales tax
do a
would
Google
hurt the
search on
city,
an article.
and she wouldn't do that, and that's not
Do a Google search on
Nobody.
Terry Norelli's comments and Susan Almy on a tax that they want.
Let me
Sales
directly.
tax is out.
Let me
Don't
directly
use
refute.
sales tax.
What
as
about
an
payroll
example.
tax?
Let me directly refute. You said Speaker Norelli would not want a sales tax. Is that
Correct.
it? Then why, as president of the National Council of State Legislatures, did she push through legislation on the federal level to have an internet sales tax that New Hampshire businesses will have to collect?
How come?
I sat there when I was speaker. The speaker goes to those conferences and gets to vote the state. I voted against it, and she wouldn't speak to me because of it. So she does one. Then when she became the president of it, when she became speaker again, she became president. In her presidency, it was pushed forward.
So we pay a tax on.
Not yet. Kelly Ayotte is doing her best
I
to
see.
prevent this
Now
from
it's
becoming
Kelly
law.
Ayotte.
Legislation just got killed in the
You
House.
guys say
But that's-
that we don't have it, and you want the people who are watching the show to believe that what you have said is
All the
correct.
people have to
it
do
is.
is
Google.
Google
Right.
National Conference of State Legislators. the just completed president is Speaker Terry Norelli, and they can find her comments
Right.
in support of an internet sales tax.
No.
This is a tax that would require New Hampshire businesses
right.
to collect sales tax
And
from
Kelly
other
Ayotte
states
said we are
across
not
the
a
country.
tax
I
collector.
got a question. Is there a bug in there?
Yeah. Kelly Ayotte said
I think there is a
we're
bug
not a
out of it.
tax collector when it gets it. You know
Didn't
the
do it,
House.
Ken, didn't do it.
Ken, you know the House of Representatives just voted that we will never ever tax something like
No,
that.
well, first of all, nobody wants a sales tax, but
right,
I want to.
the internet.
But let us, because we're just throwing.
Shaheen voted
let
to
us
tax
talk
the
a little
internet.
bit about gaming in the state of New Hampshire. You're for it?
Oh, I mean, are you talking about gambling with
Gaming.
another term of Democrats? Or?
Oh God.
I don't know. I mean, what is this?
Are you for gaming?
I support
Are you for gaming?
I don't think it's an important issue. I'll tell you what I don't want.
What?
I don't
Oh,
think
boy.
I don't think it's an issue that's important when we have the fiscal problems we have in bringing good manufacturing jobs to New Hampshire. Look at there's Trump what is it, Plaza, Trump Palace, something in New Jersey.
Right,
the
cool.
Trump Casino is closing up. What we need are good manufacturing jobs. What we need is right to work.
Excuse me. Why are they closing? They're closing because it's a cluster. And the states are becoming really intelligent in saying, we don't want our license plates down in their parking lots. We'd rather have them up here in the state of New Hampshire. And they're saying Massachusetts. And we had talked about that 20 to 40% of license plates, when they soon as they open a casino in Massachusetts, will be New Hampshire. And you don't want a sales, you don't want that?
Why don't we
I got
talk-
an idea. Instead of taking taxes away, let's not have gaming and we can tax more.
Look, I'd rather work on bringing jobs to New Hampshire that you can raise a family on. You can't raise a family on being a croupier at a casino. You can if Nissan
Electrician,
brings its manufacturing
plumbing,
plant to New Hampshire.
builders,
They would if we could go and ask Boeing to bring their next
extensions.
assembly plant here.
Also-
and we can only do that if we have right to work.
Bringing in large groups to have their conventions here. We have no really convention center. We don't have a convention center that can take 10,000 people. Convention centers all over the country. That's how they make their money.
Ken, what we need are good jobs that people can raise a family on, not being a card dealer at a casino. It's not a major issue. In my district, it's not a major issue.
See, my district it is, and this is where we'll agree to disagree. Bill and I, we agree on almost everything. 80, 90%, maybe 95, I don't know.
Right.
But the thing is, I voted the other way. I voted for gambling. But I didn't vote for the
So it
revenue.
was your vote.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen.
No, it wasn't his
an
vote.
even
It was
vote,
Republicans
and
and
so it was
Democrats.
your vote who
More
voted
Democrats
not
than
for it,
Republicans.
which would have meant 5,000 jobs coming into the state
No.
of New Hampshire.
Nope.
Shame on you.
I have to disagree. I think more Democrats than Republicans voted against it.
Ken, that's ridiculous. You
Yeah.
know it.
Well, we have to have a few.
It was
It's
your governor.
halfway through.
It was your governor that put $80 million in a budget from gambling that we never even
She
had.
used up the surplus we gave her. We had an $800 million deficit
should
when we
we-
took over, and we gave
I thought it was
you.
almost 900.
And we gave you an $80 million surplus,
And she
and you
blew it.
used it
And
up.
what did you do? You
Gave you the
played-
surplus.
Excuse me. Consider these things as shells.
No,
a
this
bean
isn't a
here,
Democrat budget.
And you
It's
went
something-
like this, and all of a sudden we've got enough money to take care of our, coming under
Can I,
budget or budget. And then what happens because of something that you did? New Hampshire got sued, and we have to pay back $180
What are you
million.
talking about?
Yeah, I don't.
What are you talking about?
Well, you
Something we
confused.
did?
So
That was done under Governor Shaheen and Governor Lynch.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, are you talking?
You wouldn't repay the money back that everyone had
No,
done.
no, there was reason why.
You're not even talking.
And
What
by-
are you talking
and
about?
By the way, it
What are you
wasn't
talking about?
Governor Shaheen that had done this. This was Governor Gregg who had started this between the hospitals.
You guys are just so unbelievable. There's been 1 2-year term in the last 20 years of a Republican governor, and of course, everything evil occurred during that 2 years. Not during.
Well, actually, a lot did.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Even
No.
Republicans.
At least in your mind, anyway.
Yeah, no doubt about it in your mind. He's
No doubt about it in anybody's
He's like
mind.
the Bush of New Hampshire. It's all.
He's the only governor in how many centuries that didn't get 2 terms?
Well-
We had a bad governor.
You understand?
He was a great governor.
Did you remember what Bill said in the beginning of the segment there? What CNBC said about New Hampshire's economy? The last 8-10 years this goes now. How long have we had Lynch? 8 years. Now we've had Hassan.
let
We used to be in the
There's
top.
the 10
We
years.
used to be in the
Let
top
me-
10.
Right. Look at why.
We used
You
to be
know
in the
something?
top 10, and your
And
party
you
has driven
guys
us.
didn't want to spend money to keep our infrastructure up. That's why the
Yes,
majority
yes.
of the
That's not true.
people
That's
just not true.
voted for.
That's not true. You took $38 million out of the
If we're
transportation.
losing, the first thing
road tax.
businesses think of as soon as they decide they'd like to come to New Hampshire someplace is they look at the infrastructure
That's not
because
true.
they need the people
That's
or the
not true.
trucks.
We took
And
money
the
out of the
money's
road.
there.
Come in,
The
and
money's
the
there.
infrastructure's not there.
The money's
The
there.
money wasn't there.
The money is
you
there. It's in the
sign-
highway
It's
trust fund.
there
It's being
now.
siphoned
It's
off.
there now.
Bill,
No,
2
it
years
isn't.
ago, did you vote for the amendment there that Bill put in, I co-sponsored with him, that says 100% of the gas tax money will go to gas tax and not diverted? Did you vote for that amendment when we tried to fix it 2 years ago?
So what should I say?
Did
Yes?
you vote for that amendment?
I can't. I voted for something.
No, you voted
Democrats
against it.
killed it.
Because
I
every
don't
Democrat
know.
voted
every
against
Democrat-
it.
That's right.
I've only voted for about
Okay,
20,000
we tried
bills.
to,
Excuse
we
me.
No,
tried to
it's-
fix it, and he's refused.
Yeah, I'm concerned about bridges and highway
That's
repairs
right.
and so we
I know.
brought an
Isn't
amendment
that-
and
isn't that-
every Democrat voted
Isn't
against it.
that interesting, though? How you
No,
would
it's a
say
tragedy,
you'd like
actually.
to bring businesses in here, yet you voted against a tax that would assist bringing our highways and our bridges up to date to bring the businesses
A
in.
tax.
And
No,
the gas tax
it's
has
a
not been
tax.
done for 20
When in
years.
doubt, get back in your constituents'
Unnecessary
pockets.
taxes
That's right.
aren't the way to grow
You
an
took
economy.
$38 million
How about
in
an
2010 from the road
investment? How about
tax.
in
No,
call them
that's
an
what-
investment? You guys want to say taxes all the time. How about investment? How about investing in the state?
You know, an investment is when I call up Fidelity or I go to the bank and I put money in. A tax is when your party puts your hand in my wallet and grabs some money out of it. That's called a
You
tax.
know, you guys, you Republicans are constantly use this.
But it's the truth.
And you're constantly saying stuff, always negative about Democrats. Republican voters aren't even believing that now themselves.
well, we'll see in
you guys have to
2014
stop
November.
and say something positive,
We'll
like
s-
how good the President of the United States has been doing a job, how good the insurance, Obamacare
Hey,
has
what are you
worked in
drinking?
the state of
What are
New
you
Hampshire.
drinking over there?
Yeah, is that a bug? Tell me, is that a bug in there?
that's a bug in there.
That's a bug in there.
But when are you guys going to
I'm not gonna
acknowledge?
bug
When
you
are you
there.
going to acknowledge that President Obama is the worst president of since
Even Democrats are
since
saying the same
Buchanan.
thing.
Buchanan caused the Civil
let
War.
me
He's the
see.
worst since then.
Democrats are saying the
He's
same
even
thing.
worse than Carter,
Yes.
which set quite
And
a
when
bar.
Obama came in, the month he came in, there was 270,000 jobs lost. This month it was 280 plus. And by the way, do you know that our unemployment is down to 6.1, which was the same?
Why is it down?
Which was the same as it was
Why is it
in
down?
2006.
How many millions of people
Guess
stopped
what?
looking
It
for
was because
jobs?
of the president taking actions and people going along with it.
No, we have
That's
fewer
right.
people working
that's
than
right.
when he came into office. People
go
have
slow, don't
left.
confuse them.
People have left the work.
Okay, go slow, don't confuse them.
You know, the lowest labor participation rate since the 1950s.
We have to get, cards in here because the way you shuffle and the way you're going like this, it's amazing.
But you say something wrong, and it's not shuffling
I
the deck
see.
to say something wrong.
So
to
the
point out-
president has done nothing. Good.
Oh, you say nothing good, yeah.
He's done nothing good.
That will cover it.
Obamacare.
I don't know what he's done.
It's awful.
I don't
It's
know what he's
awful.
And 20,000 people they thought would sign up in New Hampshire. 40,000 signed up. You said
Because
all
30,000
these-
lost their
you-
insurance.
Oh, wait a minute. And you said
30,000.
all those people would sign up, as you have said, lost their insurance. And guess what? Half of what you predicted didn't even happen.
No, actually, the prediction by the Lewin Group is about 3,000 or 4,000 people would lose private insurance and go on Medicaid, and it's been more like 30,000. And that's exactly
I
what
don't-
we predicted. That's
I
exactly what we
just swallowed the
predicted.
bug.
Don't we?
No, you don't have to worry about it anymore.
That's
then.
not true.
Yeah, yeah.
That's you guys.
What do you mean it's
I
not
don't know
true?
why I do this. I mean, it's fun. Okay.
Are you trying to say that Bill O'Brien's a liar? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, God.
Huh?
Okay.
I'm going to call him out right
got him
now.
now.
Are you calling my friend Bill a
I
liar?
have a good idea. Why don't I just repeat what everybody else says?
That's right.
Get me off the hook.
You know how many times I got to
No
twist this?
names,
You don't know how many times I got to twist him and say, "Hey, Ken, that's somebody's
You
quality
really-
of life.
you guys
You're
really
taking
see
food
yourself."
off their table.
All right,
More taxes."
We've only got about 3 minutes to this segment. We are going to. This is going to be a 2-part series. The following week, Bill and Al will be back. So a lot of things we're going to talk about. But how do you guys get away with giving the President of the United States absolutely no credit for what has taken place?
What has taken
How
place?
in
I
the
give him-
world-
What took place?
I give him,
How
cre-
in
I
the-
give him
under-
credit. I give him
under
credit
the-
for the
What
IRS
has taken
scandal.
place?
I give him credit for Benghazi. I give him credit for children who are
wait a
drowning in the
minute,
Rio
hold it.
Grande
Wait a
because
minute.
they listened to his
Benghazi.
Dream Act.
Hold on a second.
I give him credit for cutting
Benghazi, and the
disabled
Democrats were looking
veterans'
for
retirement.
money to bring more people in to watch the embassies. The Republicans wouldn't sign.
Do you
it.
give him credit for
Hold
cutting
on a
veterans'
second.
That's
You
just
want
retirement?
to
not
talk
true.
about
That's
kids,
not
men
true.
and women and children coming into this country, and as you said, drowning. Well, let me see. There's an immigration bill, I believe, ready, which was done by Republicans and Democrats, but the Republicans in Congress won't bring it up.
Because it would allow 12 million illegal immigrants
To
to
stay.
get legal
To
status.
stay. It-
And we all know
Really?
what you guys are up to.
Within
What
12
You want us to call
years?
them undocumented immigrants. They're really undocumented
So I'll tell you what,
Democrats, aren't they?
as we
Yeah,
do
they'll be in the polls voting.
nothing,
They'll be in the
as
polls.
we do nothing, it's getting worse. They have the ability
I don't see how
to
we're doing
push
it.
it and to
Obama's
get it
doing
done,
nothing.
and they're not doing it.
That's like
Obama's
saying
doing nothing.
That's like saying we have a crime wave, so let's get rid of it by getting rid of the criminal laws.
Well, you
That-
wanna know-
that's
Your president-
basically
I-
what you're
I
trying
got
to do.
news for you. I got news for you. Crime went down in Texas.
Well, that's because they
You
have
wanna know why?
stand your
'Cause-
ground
Yeah,
like
'cause
we
He was
do.
Governor
in the
Perry.
hospital for 2 days.
Oh, come on. Why? See, there you go
Having
again,
his-
blaming
having his
Bush.
knee fixed.
There you go, blame Bush. Do you know, do you give President Obama credit for cutting the disabled veterans
I will
retirement?
give him a lot of credit for
You
a
know,
lot of
her
things,
and
but
Senator
we're going to
Shaheen
have
screwing
to
over the
kind of
veterans.
say goodbye. So I would like you to tell everybody how they can get contacted.
Well, the best way is either my phone, call me, 603-620-8710, or an email, williamlobrien@gmail.com.
And you are running again. And you
Running
believe-
in Mount Vernon, New Boston for state representative, and if I'm elected, I'm going to ask my colleagues to consider me for speaker.
And I'll consider him for speaker. And my name
I
is Al
will too.
Baldessau, and I'm from Londonderry. And my phone number is 603-425-6997. My cell phone. You want to call me on my cell? 858-3535. And I have a website, www.albaldessau.com. Unlike you, we give out all our information.
My name is Ken Gidge, obviously. I do have a website called Gidge World. You can find me there. You can also get my phone number, which is 603-864-9332. I believe you both are on Facebook, so come in and look at us and make friends with us, etc. Be friends with us. But I don't know. I lost a lot.
You're
of
supporting Bill O'Brien, right?
Yeah.
Weren't you supporting for speaker?
I got,
And
what do you mean
could
I
you
did?
friend Ken Gidge? He needs some friends on
All right.
Facebook.
On that note, goodbye.
preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.